Today we transfer the mead from the Catalyst Fermentation system into 1 gallon carboys. Let's get it going. Welcome back, everybody. So today is the day we are going to transfer from the Catalyst into individual carboys. The reason this has been sitting about 3 months just in this is because I wanted to see if it would clear out. And it is starting to clear out, but I think it's time to get it out into its own carboys, and we can play with taste and stuff in there. Just a little bit of stuff, or a little bit of information. The yeast I used is still in the mason jar. The cool thing that I do like about this is I don't have to take it off right now. Now, if you're gonna reuse this yeast, I would say after fermentation's done, go ahead and take it off and put a clean one on there. But the thing I do like is you can just close the valve and it's separated now. So it's not like it's been sitting on the yeast all this time. So I do like that. One thing that I do see is not all the yeast faded down or dropped down into the actual mason jar. We do still have some settlement up here, and we'll see how that does. Also, just being my first one, or my first batch done in this, I didn't want to remove the jar that much, because obviously if you remove this jar and put a clean jar on, all that oxygen's going to go up through there. And one big thing is you don't want oxygen in there. Now you can take or carbon dioxide, I'm sorry. You can take oxygen, spray it in here, put it on, and that way there's not as much going into your beer or mead, anything like that. But that's the one thing that's concerning me about this unit, is every time you take this mason jar off and you put another one in there, all that oxygen, carbon dioxide, everything, bugs, whatever is in the air in that jar is going up into your liquid. So that's why I just went ahead and shut it. I left it on there. I'm probably not going to use this yeast. I'll buy a fresh batch, so not a big deal. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take off this mason jar. So make sure your valve is closed, because when we turn it and get it off, there is going to be some up there because the mason jar is full, and there is a gap from the threads on the gate valve or butterfly valve to the jar, so you are going to get some. So let's go ahead and we will get this off, and then what we're going to do, Craft a Brew or Craft a Beer, what they do is they do offer a it comes with, I should say, sorry, it comes with a little funnel that you can hook a hose up to transfer your liquid. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll get to the next step. Okay, so now it is loose. I had to grab some paper towel because it is sticky. Now again, I'm not going to use this. We'll go ahead and take a sample from this, but when we fully get this unthreaded, see, there we go, we're already getting some that's coming out. Smells good. Okay, so there we go. We're going to leave it like that for a second. I'm going to I've got a full thing back here with a whole bunch of stuff that's being sanitized. So we'll go ahead and grab a sample of that, and we'll set that off to the side. Okay, so now what we want to do is put that insert in there. So I'll go ahead and grab that. Okay, so I have it. One thing I have to say, so we're at a 3-inch thread on the top of this, and we go down to like a quarter, half-inch on here. I'm not sure why they couldn't have made it bigger. Maybe it's a standard thing, but it just seems like to me they could have made this opening bigger in this funnel piece. So let's go ahead, see if we can do this without spilling it. Okay, there's that. So all we're going to do is thread this on there now. Looks like it's on there all the way. Hopefully. There. Okay, so now that that's on there, we can go ahead and put our hose. And for this, I'm going to change up the camera angle because the hose is going to come out. I'm going to have to do it down here on the floor. So I'm going to change some stuff up, and then we'll talk about it once we get the first one going. Okay, so we do have it on there. I've just pushed it on there, and I have to say, Craft A Brew with this unit, they do send a clamp that will clamp this, and I don't know where it is. So I'm just going to do it slowly. We'll fill this one up pretty much all the way. I'll stop it. I'll get another one, and then we'll keep going. So let's see how this comes out. I'm going to kind of hold it, and we'll go from there. I'm not going to open it very far. Hopefully one click. See, and there is some settlement in there. So this first one probably won't be as clear. You can hear it bubbling. I did take the water out of the airlock so it wouldn't suck it back in there. So just in case somebody sees that and says there's no liquid in there, it's because I've already taken it out. And we'll go ahead and fast forward until I have them all done, then I will be back. Okay, we're back. So all 5 of them are filled. I had a tiny bit more in the Catalyst system, but I'm fine with this. It did work well. It probably took about 20 minutes to get it in each one. I would suggest if you're doing something like this to actually fill the glass carboy up with a gallon of water and mark it. Just because when I did it, I kind of eyeballed it to where the curve started and went to the next, and then I had to go back and refill them. So this one has a little bit less, probably these two match, but for what we're going to do, perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and see what our gravity right now is. This is the sample that I took out of where the yeast was. About 10.75 bricks. So I'll put it up on the screen. I do believe when we first started, our original gravity was 19 bricks. Now obviously I'm going to have to go to the computer because we'll have to adjust because a a refractometer will not give you an accurate reading once the alcohol has been introduced. So I'll do that and I'll throw it up so you guys know what it is. So here's my plan. Here's what we're going to do today and a little bit down the road. So behind each one of these, I did buy natural flavoring. The reason I wanted to do this is because when Craft A Brew sent me the Catalyst Fermenter, that's only 6.5 gallons. And if you're putting over 5 gallons in there, or 5 gallons, if you wanted to make one kind of mead, so if you're going to make a melomel or something and you were going to use cherries, if you used 8 pounds of cherries or something in that, there's no way that thing would be able to hold it. So for this, because I wanted to do 5 different ones, I went ahead and got the extract. So in this first one, we're going to put a 1/4 of a bottle of chocolate. Now, obviously, there's a ton of ways you can do this. I know people have put like Hershey syrup in theirs before. So you can do it a different way. I've never used these, and I think this is a good time to experiment with them. So let's just kind of eyeball this and get some in here. That looks about good. And also, if you're new to this or new to brewing anything, always go on the light side. You can always add more. And I hate these bungs. There we go. Always err on the light side. So that way, if we take a drink of this in 2 weeks and we don't think it's enough chocolate, we can actually go back and add some more. If we add too much, good luck. You're going to have to make a whole new 1 gallon mead or 5 gallon mead and then, dilute it until you get it. I did not smell this. Yeah, it smells like chocolate. So that one has chocolate. I do have them labeled. I will go back and add information because obviously you can see from this one it's not sticking very well, but it does say chocolate on it. So on the next one, we're going to add peach. Now, if you do remember, or if you have been following me, I did make a peach mead last year, and I put the peaches right into the actual 1 gallon carboy, and that was a pain. I think by the time I finally strained everything out, I probably had a 1/4 gallon left, and that's why I didn't do a review. I should have put it in something larger or with a bigger diameter hole, so that way I could get it out. And now that's where the catalyst comes into play. If you were going to do like a 2 gallon, 3 gallon batch, you could put, 4 pounds of peach sliced up in a bag and put it in there, and you would be safe. It's just, there's no way you're going to be able to make a 5 gallon batch in that catalyst with real fruit. Peach smells good. It smells like peach schnapps. There we go. We'll put a little bit more. I did take a little taste of what was in the collection jar, and it was very dry. There was a little bit of sweetness there. The smell is wonderful, but as we go down, I think we are going to have to back sweeten. This one, the third one, will get cherry, and I did make a 1 gallon with real Traverse City cherries, and it was drank right away when we went to a football game. So we'll have to see how well this plays, or how well it does versus my real one. There we go. Okay, so we have chocolate, peach, and cherry. So now what we're going to do for these three, I'm going to let them sit for 2 weeks, and then we'll have another review and taste them, just to give that time to blend in there, and we'll see what we need to do. Now these two, what I want to do is on one of these, I want to put some whole leaf hops in it. See if I can get like a citrus flavor to come out of the hops. I think I'm going to put them in a small bag and put them in there, but we'll have to see. But I do want to use my own hops in this one. Now, for the last one, I think what I'm going to do is almost caramelize some sugar and then back sweeten that honey. Not caramelize sugar, almost caramelize the honey and put it into this one to see what we can do with those flavors. I do pick up all my stuff at Bell's, so if I run in there and they do have a different kind of flavoring, I might pick that up and just try it on these other two, but I'm going to let them sit how they are right now. When we come back in 2 weeks and see how these three are doing, we will move on to this. So, yeah, I think the Catalyst worked well on something like this. Like I said, I don't think you really want to make a 5-gallon melomel in something like that. If you were going to put you know, some cocoa nibs and some cinnamon or something like that, I think it'll work well. Everything will settle to the bottom. But if you're going to put any kind of fruit, I don't think it's enough. You have to cut back on your batch size that you're going to make. So if you want to make a 3-gallon batch, excuse me, I had to sneeze. If you wanted to make a 3-gallon batch, I think you would have the room to put all that fruit in there. Again, though, I would put it in a bag. You know, honey is expensive, and if you have to keep on changing out that mason jar, you're going to lose a lot of mead. And I don't think it's worth it to do it straight into the Catalyst. I think put it in a bag, put it in there, so that way you can pull it out and you're not losing as much mead that way. We did get 5 gallons, so we're good there. From the mason jar, I'll put a picture up since it's way over there. We lost a little more than half of the mason jar, which is mead that I could dump, but because I did close it, I don't want to put it back in here because it's been sitting on the yeast. But even if you closed it and dumped it out and reopened it, you're still going to lose some because all that mead's going to be sitting in that jar, and when you unscrew it, it's going to come out the sides. So, yeah, hopefully this turns out, and thank you for joining me. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions on this, or maybe tell me what you think I should do with these other two. But until next time, happy brewing. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and thumbs up and check out some of our other videos.